Hello, my name is Ethan Wimer, and for my project I researched the viability of using processed acid mine drainage as a soil amendment. The objective of this research is to identify whether acid mine drainage falls within the safe ranges to be distributed into soil and if it is capable of enhancing it. If it meets those requirements, the final goal is to do physical testing and use acid mine drainage amendment to help reclaim disturbed areas. Acid mine drainage, or AMD, is a pollutant that forms as a result of sulfur mixing with air and water after being released from both operating and closed mines. It is very expensive to dispose of properly, and so finding alternative methods of getting rid of it will be very valuable to reclamation efforts. AMD has been identified as a potential ingredient to an amendment, but it must be tested before use. The test that was selected was a toxicity characteristic leaching procedure, or TLCP, limit test, which involves simulating the process of leaching. Leaching occurs when chemicals are drained into the lower layers of soil by liquid, especially rainwater. Due to the saturation of the soil during the TLCP test, the results must be interpreted considering the TLCP rule of 20, which means that either the results must be divided by 20 or the limits must be multiplied by 20. The processed acid mine drainage must stay within the limits associated with the TLCP test. Several West Virginia sources of acid mine drainage were compared to the limits associated with the TLCP test. The table labeled % difference from TLCP limit of samples shows the difference in % of the limit and the results of the TLCP test. The closest any of the samples came to the limit only made up 60% of it, which is well within restrictions. A table of basic requirements for soil to be considered healthy was compiled in order to see where acid mine drainage falls short and to see what would need to be mixed with it in order to turn it into an effective soil amendment. This information will be used in the future to make up for any shortcomings that acid mine drainage might have by adding other ingredients like fertilizers or even select nutrients. Characteristics that were considered include the pH of the soil, the presence of key nutrients such as phosphorus or potassium, and the % composition of the soil that is made up of organic matter. The results of the TLCP test show that acid mine drainage falls well within the safe ranges for use, and after comparing acid mine drainage with healthy soil, it was determined that using acid mine drainage as an ingredient in a soil amendment is well within the realm of possibility. Future work for this project will include a small-scale growth study, which will be used to provide physical evidence for its effectiveness. This study will involve making groups of planters containing different types of grasses that are selected based on how well they grow in the target disturbed areas. The planters will each contain different amounts of the processed AMD mix and will be monitored as they grow. At the end of the growing season, the AMD mix that fosters the best growth will be selected for real-world testing. Thank you for listening to my presentation.